Welcome to True Crime News. Police in Old Lovingston, Virginia were worried, fearful that they had two killers hunting young girls at the same time. Beautiful Alexis Murphy disappeared after last being seen at a local gas station. And she wasn't the only one. Now cops are wondering how many predators are among them.
In case y'all didn't know, it's Black Girl Sunday.
Senior pictures are right around the corner for Alexis Murphy, and the vivacious social media loving 17-year-old is headed out to get her hair done.
Hi. About to make this long drive. I'll let you, girl.
But in the wee hours of Sunday morning, Alexis's grandmother awakes to a terrifying discovery. Alexis didn't make her midnight curfew.
She have never done that before. That's something that's not right. That's not Alexis.
The local sheriff's department is notified of the missing teen.
They called the state police in, and they had the helicopter in there that night. The FBI was on ground too.
They weren't alone. Alexis's large social media following brought out hundreds of searchers. Then, just 3 days after Alexis goes missing, police make a disturbing discovery.
Her father's car that she was driving was found in a movie theater parking lot here in Charlottesville. You know, abandoned, nobody was in it.
At some point, someone was captured on nearby mall surveillance cameras.
You couldn't see who got out of it, though. It was just a very grainy black and white surveillance video. It was at night. We were never able to see on the camera who drove the car.
But investigators get a hunch.
It was more or less just brainstorming where she could possibly go.
The Liberty gas station in Lovingston, where local teens hang out after school and on weekends. And sure enough,
we did find video of her coming into the gas station and purchasing gas shortly before she disappeared.
When detectives study the tape, this time they see
a man holding a door for a woman to leave the store, and she walks out, doesn't look at him, doesn't say anything, she doesn't stop, just an everyday, nothing extraordinary about it.
They notice the man has a large and unique neck tattoo. And there's something else, the man's equally distinctive car.
A camouflage Suburban.
At the same time, the FBI zeroes in on Alexis's cell phone signal, pinging and eerily close.
Maybe 1 mile north of that gas station.
When FBI and the state police swarm the remote area of the cell phone's location, they spot
a very conspicuous camouflage Suburban that was pulled also into that area.
And there, detectives are greeted by a familiar visual.
He had a very large tattoo on his neck of Daffy Duck. He's the kind of person that makes the hair on your neck stand up.
The man identifies himself as Randy Taylor and invites detectives inside his camper, where something sparkly catches a detective's eye.
A diamond stud in the carpet, as well as a fingernail on the pillow of his bed. There was a long black hair that was consistent with an African-American female.
Investigators gather the diamond stud, strand of hair, and broken fingernail as evidence, and they soon learned
it matched Alexis's DNA. Once that was a match, he became a clear suspect then.
But Randy says he can explain, telling detectives they have it all wrong.
Once he knew that we knew, he finally said, okay, I saw her. He said that her and, as he put it, a black guy with dreadlocks came to his camper to get drugs. They drank a few beers, and then she left his camper, as he put it, laughing and smiling, and that was the last that he saw of her.
Randy even gives cops a name.
His name was Damian Bradley, and Mr. Bradley, he knew of Alexis. We go and talk to him because, we want to get to the bottom of this. He flat out denies even ever meeting Mr. Taylor. He certainly wasn't the last person to be with Alexis. The weekend that this happened, he was with his father in Alabama. He wasn't even in town.
With potentially incriminating DNA and Randy's false statements, cops have enough to arrest him on abduction charges.
It was at that point that we felt that we really needed to get inside the camper and to start we started developing probable cause to go get a search warrant.
Once they get one, there, under the couch, they make a dreadful discovery.
They found a T-shirt balled up under the sofa, and it had black hair extensions and then a set of artificial eyelashes. There was a stain on the back of the shirt. It turned out that it was blood.
And just like before,
the DNA on the eyelashes, the hair extensions, and the blood stain matched Alexis's DNA.
it's a scrapbook, and when they open it, they get a glimpse inside the mind of a potential madman.
Pornographic pictures. The faces of those images were cut out. Photos of a female were taped on top of those photos.
Now authorities begin to wonder if something bigger is at play in the small town of Lovingston, Virginia. At this time, there are numerous police reports of other girls who have gone missing in the same area. All their cases, unsolved mysteries.
Something wasn't right.
Cops had arrested 48-year-old Randy Taylor on abduction charges after finding evidence in his camper linking him to Alexis Murphy.
We wanted to punish Mr. Taylor for what he really did.
With the increasing number of missing girls in the area, authorities wonder if they actually had the right man or if other predators are lurking in the area.
Investigators were helping us also to try to find some kind of link.
4 years earlier, 20-year-old Virginia Tech student Morgan Harrington went missing from Charlottesville, the same town where Alexis's car was discovered, her body found 3 months later in a field south of town. And later, 19-year-old Samantha Clark went missing in the town of Orange, Virginia, just minutes from Charlottesville. Her body was never found. And then, after Alexis disappeared, 18-year-old Hannah Graham went missing after a night out with college friends in Charlottesville. 5 weeks later, her remains were discovered in a nearby abandoned property.
They couldn't quite put their finger on it. It just didn't seem right.
Alexis had not been found, and unsure whether or not the cases are connected, prosecutors build a murder case for the teenager based on evidence from Taylor's camper.
So at that point, I started researching homicides without a body. And I ran across a case in Virginia from the 1980s. Her killer has been convicted, and he's in the Department of Corrections.
Then, in an unprecedented move, prosecutor Anthony Martin charges Randy with Alexis's murder.
We should not reward a person by not charging them with murder just because they're good at hiding the body.
A jury of 5 men and 7 women found Randy Taylor guilty of first-degree murder and abduction with intent to defile. He's given 2 life sentences. Then, in a stunning turn of events in Nelson County, just 2 months after Randy Taylor's murder conviction, this bombshell: a suspected serial killer is arrested nearby. His name? Jesse Matthew.
He was a person of interest that came about in the Morgan Harrington case, and then he later came up with the UVA student Hannah Graham.
Jesse Matthew is charged with the abduction and murder of Morgan Harrington and Hannah Graham. Both went missing in the same area where Alexis disappeared. And there's something about Jesse Matthew that stands out to investigators working the Alexis Murphy case.
He was a large African-American guy, the black guy with dreadlocks.
The same description Randy gave cops of the man he claimed left his camper with Alexis. Authorities begin to wonder if they've just convicted the wrong man.
That's not good at all. We want to know what the truth is.
Cops take Matthew's DNA and compare it to samples extracted from evidence in Randy's camper. The results come back, and it's a monumental moment.
He was excluded from our case. We strongly feel he had nothing to do with Alexis's case whatsoever.
Proof that Randy Taylor is Alexis Murphy's killer. But now, with hard DNA evidence, Taylor makes an 11th hour confession and wants to cut a new deal.
He wants to give us the location, or as he put it, tell you where she is.
You heard right. Randy tells prosecutors he'll tell them where Alexis's body is in exchange for reducing his 2 life sentences down to 20 years. Alexis's family is quick to react.
I couldn't rest, or my family couldn't rest, knowing that we didn't do all that we could, and we had the opportunity to put this monster away for forever.
That means no deal for convicted killer Randy Taylor. Sadly, it also means no real closure for Alexis's family.
We'll keep looking and hopefully find her, but we're not going to give in to him.
It would take years, but Randy Taylor finally identifies the location of Alexis's remains in a field off the highway 4 miles from where she disappeared.
Randy Taylor will never be out of prison to exact this kind of pain on someone else.
As a result of so many murders, Alexis's aunt is now working with an organization called Help Save the Next Girl by remembering Alexis and the many others lost.
Alexis was abducted in broad open daylight. If it can happen to her, it can happen to anybody. And if it can happen there, it can happen anywhere.
Randy Taylor is serving 2 life sentences for Alexis's murder. He also is a person of interest in the disappearance of Samantha Clark, who has been missing since 2010.